Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're going to unpack the core ideas from a really unusual source. It's a book that blends some pretty heavy leadership theory with, believe it or not, a love story.
That's right. We're looking at The Melody of Leadership, 10 Commandments Entwined in a Love Story by S.M.A. Moyne. And it's fascinating because it's not your typical business book at all.
Not at all. It seems to pull wisdom from leadership, of course, but also philosophy, neuroscience.
Exactly. Philosophy, neuroscience, branding, and storytelling. All these lenses are used to explore leadership, and they're wrapped up in this narrative about two people falling in love.
Okay, let's get right into the main idea because it sounds quite provocative. The book claims leaders are essentially archetypal figures, people who bring order from chaos.
Sort of, yeah. They're presented as these figures who need to create harmony, help people grow. But the really sticky idea is this. Leaders are akin to a brand.
Akin to a brand, what does that actually mean in practice, like a company brand?
Pretty much. The idea is that whether you're leading a huge organization or a tiny team, you project something. You either build up trust and affection, loyalty, or you end up sowing distrust, maybe even disgust.
So it's about perception, but based on real substance.
Precisely. The book argues we're naturally drawn to leaders who show virtue, things like character, competence, real integrity. And we instinctively pull away from those who just use power and their position to manipulate.
And the love story comes in how? Does it test that integrity?
That seems to be the mechanism, yes. It explores how a leader maintains that virtuous brand when their personal life gets complicated and emotionally charged.
Okay, that makes sense. So how does the book structure these ideas? You mentioned 10 Commandments.
Yes, the 10 Commandments of Leadership. It's the core framework.
Sure.
And they aren't just listed. They're revealed through the journey of the main characters.
Right. Can you give us a sense of what those are?
Sure. It starts with the foundational rules.
Hmm.
Leaders as influencers, then visionaries, storytellers, which seems really central, and leaders as servants.
Okay. Influencer, visionary, storyteller, servant, then.
Then it moves into more practical action areas. Leaders as decision makers, as readers' interesting choice, and as teachers.
Readers, as in reading books or reading situations.
Good question. Likely both, understanding context and knowledge. And finally, it gets more conceptual. Leaders as humans, leaders as brands, there's that idea again, and leaders as philosophers.
Wow, that's a
Yeah.
lot. Influencers, visionaries, storytellers, servants, decision makers, readers, teachers, humans, brands, and philosophers. That's quite a spectrum.
It is. It covers a huge range from the interpersonal to the strategic to the, well, deeply personal and ethical.
But wait, going back to the structure, putting these quite academic concepts like neuroscience and philosophy inside a love story, isn't there a risk it just becomes, I don't know, relationship advice disguised as leadership?
That's the potential pitfall, absolutely. But the way the source seems to handle it is by using the narrative almost like a case study in action. The love story isn't just fluff. It directly shows how the leader's internal state, their human aspect, Commandment 8, impacts their decisions, their influence, everything. The romance becomes the crucible where these commandments are tested.
And the academic lenses add the weight?
Exactly. When it mentions neuroscience, for example, it's not just pop psychology. It seems to dig into the cognitive underpinnings of trust, loyalty, decision-making biases, contrasting genuine connection with, say, fear-based compliance.
Okay. And philosophy, is that about ethics?
Seems like it. Defining that ethical core, the why behind the leadership, that separates a truly virtuous leader from just a manager. So these lenses give it depth, making the lessons feel both real and conceptually solid for you listening.
That makes the structure feel much more robust. Okay, let's see it in action. How does the story introduce these ideas right away? You mentioned protagonists.
Yes. We meet Royal Navy Commander Kevin Cruz. He's our experienced leader figure, and Caroline Cambridge. She's an ambitious MBA grad, wants to start her own fashion brand. Very different worlds.
Definitely. And where do they meet?
Their paths cross at a global leadership boot camp. It's set on the coast of Bangladesh, which is an interesting choice, but parts also happen in London's fashion scene. So you have this contrast between a sort of intense, focused environment and the high glamour, high stakes world of fashion.
And the book uses Kevin's arrival to set the stage immediately.
Right. The narrative starts with him flying to Bangladesh for this boot camp, and he's on Biman, the national airline flying economy.
Which is a big change for a former high-ranking Navy commander, I assume.
A huge change. The book explicitly contrasts it with the luxury flights he was used to.
Yeah.
And you wonder, why focus on that detail?
Yeah, why?
Well, it immediately brings up that Leaders is brand's commandment, doesn't it? Can his leadership presence, his brand, survive without the usual status symbols? It's an instant test.
Ah, okay. So does he struggle with it?
Interestingly, no. The book notes that despite the less luxurious setting, he finds this unexpected warmth, a familial aura among the other passengers. It's a subtle hint that connection, not rank, might be more important here.
And storytelling comes in early too, right? On the flight.
Yes, very cleverly done. Kevin watches an in-flight tourism ad for Bangladesh titled Land of Stories, and the visuals are described quite vividly.
Like what?
Things like a Western traveler in serene lake waters at dawn, trekking through forests with tigers and deer, boat trips through mangrove forests. Beautiful imagery.
Standard tourism stuff, maybe?
The visuals, perhaps? But it's the voiceover that connects it to the leadership themes. It uses these thought-provoking lines. Things like, happiness needs no reason. And things that you will do, people that you will meet will keep on surprising you. It's pushing beyond just sightseeing.
And connecting the journey to the inner self.
Exactly. Another line is, your mind is a traveler. Now let your heart be the tourist guide. It's directly linking the external experience to Commandment 8. Leaders as humans. It even promises finding a warmth you will be looking for all your life. Deep stuff for an airline ad.
So the narrative is already weaving together the grand themes with these small, personal moments. What happens when he lands?
The human interactions continue immediately. His hotel escort comments on how nice the country is and seems genuinely surprised when Kevin agrees, saying something like, he hopes Kevin finds it to their liking, sir.
A small moment of cultural connection, or perhaps disconnect.
A bit of both. A tiny communication hurdle Kevin has to navigate gently, but then comes the main event, the inciting incident for the personal storyline.
The meeting with Carolyn.
Yes. In the hotel lobby, he's maybe a bit distracted, still processing the flight, the ad, the arrival, and he literally bumps into her, collides with her.
Oh.
Her phone goes flying. They both apologize at the same time, and the book notes this awkwardness hanging in the air.
And it affects Kevin, the seasoned commander.
It does. It mentions a momentary pang of nervousness, which is significant because it says he's usually indifferent to these kinds of distractions, especially romantic ones. But this collision, it provoked something.
So right away, the human element crashes into the decision maker.
Perfectly put. The leader who needs to be focused and analytical, Commandment 5, is suddenly thrown off balance by a very human, very real interaction, Commandment 8. That physical collision becomes an instant, unexpected test of his emotional presence and maybe his focus.
Okay, but he's there for a professional reason too, right? He runs his own company.
Yes, that's crucial context. He's 3 years into running his own leadership training company. It involves, as the book puts it, this convoluted dance between corporate clients and charitable organizations. And he has an immediate practical problem.
Which is?
Staffing. His indispensable personal assistant, Mary, is out, about to have a baby. He can't just get a temp. He needs someone permanent, someone really good.
So high stakes professionally as well.
Absolutely. The book specifies he needs someone sharper, more adaptable than a temp could be. It's a classic leadership pressure point. A critical gap opens up in his operations right at the moment his personal focus gets, well, complicated by meeting Caroline.
And is he already thinking about solutions, even amidst the arrival chaos?
He is. Like a good leader, he's already assessing the situation. The book mentions he's already identified a potential candidate for the PA role from among the people involved with the charity boot camp, someone he thinks has the right skills.
So he needs to make a sharp, calculated decision about hiring someone,
while simultaneously dealing with this unexpected and clearly impactful personal encounter in the lobby.
It really highlights that point you mentioned from the foreword.
Which one?
About how the book aims to show what it means to lead and to follow, and how to spot good and bad leadership.
Right. And here Kevin is embodying that tension. A good leader needs to make that smart hiring decision. That's competence, Commandment 5. But he also has to manage this sudden human connection, this jolt to his system that's Commandment 8, and maybe even affects his brand integrity if he handles it poorly.
The professional and personal are instantly intertwined.
Completely. You can't separate them, which seems to be a core message.
So wrapping this up, the big takeaway from diving into this material isn't just a list of commandments, is it?
Not at all.
Yeah.
It seems to be suggesting that really effective leadership, the kind that resonates and lasts, hinges on integrating these things. It's about your ability to, yes, make decisions and have vision, but also to connect deeply, to tell compelling stories both about your mission and about yourself, perhaps.
Whether you're at a boot camp in Bangladesh or launching a fashion line in London.
Exactly. Or facing down a rival like this Frank Sanchez character who apparently shows up later.
Mm.
That human connection, the trust, the warmth, the loyalty, seems to be the bedrock supporting all those other commandments.
That's a really strong synthesis. It leaves us with a challenging thought, though. If every leader truly is like a brand, and they have to navigate all this chaos using these different lenses, philosophy, neuroscience, branding, storytelling, which lens is ultimately the most crucial for that brand's success? Is it the sharp logic, the understanding of the brain? Or is it fundamentally about being a great storyteller, building that human connection?
That's the question, isn't it? In today's world, trying to influence people, which role wins out? The storyteller, the brand manager, or the philosopher defining the why?
Something for you to think about. Thanks for diving deep with us today.